Hello! So I'm going to quickly show you how to download and install the WHIZ HL7 browser extension. So you're going to want to come to the Open Exchange and search for the extension. You click on GitHub, that'll take you to GitHub, where you can click the green code button when it appears. There we go, it might not be green on non-dark mode, I don't know. Download the zip, find the folder on your file browser, unzip it and put it somewhere local on your PC. Once you've done that, you can come to the Manage Extensions button, enable developer mode, and then click the Load Unpacked button. Find the folder that you've just downloaded, the unzipped version, and open it, and it should open InterSystems 1.9. That'll give you a completely blank InterSystems. You click up on your extensions icon up here, you can pin the icon, which I have done, and now you can click on the icon and you get all the different buttons. So click the options page. First thing you want to do is scroll down, add your instances and namespaces. So your instance name will be how it appears in your tab groups. The URL is the domain name of the instance without any trailing or HTTPS, anything like that. It's just a domain. And then add your namespace. So again, the namespace name is how it appears in the tab groups, and your slug is how the namespace appears in your URL here. And then you can choose a color if you want. Inherit will just choose the same color as the instance, or you can choose a custom one. I've only got one there called custom. Cool, so I'm going to click this cross. I've chosen my color for blue. And I'm going to quickly, that's pretty much the installation and setup out the way. All your options are up here, so you can read through those. I'm going to give a really quick and brief tutorial about all the different features, well, as many as I can manage. For a full list of features, you can either read the Open Exchange description here, where it's all formatted nicely, or I mean, I've written it in to format nicely in the Open Exchange, or there is the full README at the bottom here, which is slightly more difficult to read, so I'd probably read it on the Open Exchange if I were you. Cool. Okay, so so the first reason I decided to create this extension was to tell the difference between production and test namespaces. So the way I do that is I've made it so that the tabs will auto tab, so I'll go enable auto tab here, and then sort by namespace, so they group themselves. So you can see this tab here is live, that is the instance that I've got down here, and then this tab over here is live with my namespace, so that's the instance plus the namespace. Any page that you go to on your instance that doesn't have a namespace associated with it will just go onto the regular instance tab group. These are colored based on the colors you choose down here in the color section. You can choose the default ones. I won't lie, they're not great, but then if you don't like them, you can overwrite them. So I've got blue here, and I've overwritten it here to have a nice gradient at the top. There's a really good website for this, CSS Gradient, where you can play around, and you can see here, this one I've chosen the blue line, this one I've chosen this funky color, and I've basically just used this tool here to create those gradients. Copy everything without the semicolon and not the background, so you just need this bit here, and then paste it in, and you can choose all your different colors. So these will all take normal CSS values, so hex codes or RGBs or normal color words. And that's the basics of the colors. You can overwrite on the namespace if you want to. The auto tabbing basically works whenever you go to a page, it will assess the URL and say, does it need to be in this tab group or not? So if I come out of my namespace and I go into interop, that's not a namespace I've set up, so it will go over here into the live instance. As soon as it loads, been a bit slow, there we go. So it's gone into the live instance for me. And it's just pretty much automatic like that. And you see as I've come out of my namespace, the header color has changed. And it's up to you how you want to organize those. I like to have the little bar of blue at the top, or whichever color denoting live or test. Okay, that's the namespace colors. Let's have a look at some of the message features. So what we've got here is a normal production configuration. First thing you can see, you've got this active production category search. You click that button, it'll look through all your currently active productions, and it will list out the categories you've got, and then you can search through them by clicking this drop down. It's been very slow today. Clicking third party one, and then it will open up all the productions that have that third party one category. So you can see it's got this one, it's already chosen category here, third party one. Really useful if you want to categorize all of your business components by ones that you look after. You put your name in there, and then you can choose your name, and then you can see all of them at the same time. If you don't want to see one, you can click the cross here, and that will close it out. Clicking all should show everything. And if you want it to go back to normal, just refresh the page. If we come into the messages section, so I'm in the message viewer here, click search. I have a search history here which saves all your previous searches, up to about 10. Just so you can, if you've been doing something in one instance and you want to see, oh, what was I searching in that instance, or if you want to quickly add something that you were searching earlier, you come in here, hover over the rule. It doesn't work with all of the rules. I've only programmed it for a few types, but most of your normal ones. Click on that rule and it will automatically add it to the extended criteria here, and it won't search for you, but you can click search there. So that's a pretty neat feature. If you've accidentally got anything in here you don't want to see again, you can just click the cross button there and it won't appear again. That's deleted. It's all stored locally, so yeah, it's just on your device. So the next thing we've got here, we've got a share search. This works by saving the search, and then you can share that with a colleague. They can go to that URL, and it will ask you if you want to delete them. The reason I've done that is because I didn't want to fill your saved searches up with randomly saved searches. So I'm going to click yes, I want to delete it because I don't want to keep this here. But it will open it before it deletes it. So then you've shared it with someone, it's a one-off share, and that's that. If you want to stop it, prevent it from deleting it, you can click no, then change the name so it doesn't prefix with ZZ. I'd just get rid of this out of the URL. So the next section we got on this page is the selected messages tab. You'll notice that is new. So if I click these ticks, tick, 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 you'll notice over here we've got 3 messages added, and you can see them all side by side. You can compare them and use the InterSystems buttons here, but I think in this particular instance, because the screen's so small, I would, once you've got all your messages together, I would click the copy share link and paste it into the browser. So this share link, oh, and by the way, these will all stay here. So if you then do another search, you can do another search, add more messages to this, and then copy the share link. So copy the share link, go here, and then you can assess your messages using all the different features here. I'm going to open split screen view, so click the green button to put it onto the other side. If I click it again, it will close the split screen view. It does put the message to the bottom, but I'm going to open it for split screen view just for the second. If you find it mismatches like this, you can just give this a little wiggle and it should, oh, maybe it won't. Oh, there we go. Yeah, and it aligns the tops of the messages. Cool. So we've got wrap rows button, which wraps all the rows instead of letting them go off the screen. Minimize all, just what it says on the tin. Reopen, close, so you can close them, and if you want to open them again, you can click that button. You've got search schema, so at the moment I can click this button and it'll expand all the schema for all of these messages. This schema mode is set to known, so it's only using what is currently in the title of these links. So 2 encoding characters there. It's just, you can see it's just taken that, and it puts the value next to it, and then you can search based on the schema or the value. So if I type in the encoding character, let's try that. I don't know if this will work. That did not like that, did it? Oh, it's just being slow. Was replaced with a lamp. That's interesting. Anyway, 2024, so it should just hide all the rows that don't have 2024 in it. Ideal. And then just get rid of that. Close it by pressing enter when the search bar is empty. The second schema mode is full. I'm not going to click search schema on that. You can do, but it will open every single row with the schema that is located at the URL as if you were to click on here. And let me show you what I mean. If I click on this, it'll go and get the schema, and then you've got the full table worth of schema here. Anything with a link you can click and it will drop down that as well. I'm going to unclick that one. You can do code tables over here. So that's that one. You can also, you can click on these buttons down here and that'll open the schema. If I switch back to known, I've added a search bar on that one just in case you wanted to search as well. So there you go. So that's the schema mode. You've got search segments. You click that. If I type OBX, it will show me all the OBX segments. So this message on the right doesn't have any. This one has loads. It'll also, you can do an opposite search where you exclude any, where you only show the OBX segments that match. So if I /OBX/ I can do 3, and it's all the OBX segments with a 3 in it, or 151570, which is respiration rate. You can see it's got all the OBX segments with respiration rate, and I can still see all the other segments. Again, empty and enter to close. I can import messages from another tab. I won't do that right now, I'll do that in a second. Enable text compare, so this loops through all the different available segments. If you click the show legend, you can see what it actually does based on the different colors. So the segment name mismatches on the segment, and then you can look at individual items and it will compare. I've got a lot of messages on this and my computer's for some reason is running quite slow, so it's been a bit slower than normal. I say a lot of messages, I mean a lot of segments, but it usually is a lot quicker than that, and it will compare across messages. So if I hover over MSH over, come on you, yeah, so it compares across messages. So you can see MSH on the left is green, MSH on the right is red, and that's because the segment name matches, but the field's raw text does mismatch. Cool, I'm going to hide the legend, disable text compare, and I'm going to move on from this bit. So there we go. That is the selected messages tab. You have got all these options on the full contents page here. Again, copy the raw text of these messages. You can see that button on the individual messages on the previous page. That will just copy the raw text here, and then you can paste it where you need it. The import message, so let me just open this another message as well. Click on this one, full contents, cool. So it looks for any of these full contents pages from the message content viewer. Click it, it'll load them. Click the, oh dear, that's weird. Oh, it's because I had, no, I'm not really sure why that was. Well, click it, it'll load the message and it should bring it in. There we go. So it has imported the message and it puts it into the boxes again. So again, you can do the side-by-side comparison or not if you want to. All the same buttons apply as previously. So that is the individual message page. The other section that we've got here is if I click on the session ID for this message, it brings up the full trace tab over here. So that is, okay. So that is the full trace tab here. The full trace tab does not like testing messages and it will break this tab. So really anything that's like XML or not HL7 version 2, it will break it. So it's not going to work perfectly with those. But let me just go onto onto the user instance where I've got some messages that weren't triggered by the testing mechanism. So we go here, search, and then click on the session. That'll bring up this again. So we've got our messages here. I click full trace and this is how it's meant to show up. Again, you've got the option to side-by-side compare or not. The buttons are all here. Got a couple of different buttons here. Show related doesn't really work when there's only 2 messages, but sometimes you'll have an ADT feed which has like 20 messages on the left. If you click on a message and you can click and it will highlight on each message, but you click on a message and click show related, it'll actually highlight the message in the left hand side, and on the right hand side in the full trace tab it'll hide any messages that aren't related to in that red line. So that's directly related. So if the end is on the same line as the start, and or vice versa, forwards and backwards. Cool. And that's that section. I think that's pretty much it. There is another feature here. So you see here the title of the page says Message Content Viewer. If I was doing some kind of investigation, I might want to change that. So I've got an update page title and save page URL button here. I'm going to call this test and click OK. That changes the name of the title of the page to test. So if you're doing any investigations, you can see that page easily. If I refresh it, it remembers that I've changed it to test, and it will change it back for me. And it also saves it in the saved page titles section down here. So I'm going to delete that one because I don't know if that's from my actual instance or not. You can search. Defaults to show in the last 5 pages, but if you, as soon as you search, it will start to show only the ones that match, and if you delete the search, it will show everything. I could probably work on that, but for now I would just try and keep up to date with deleting these when you don't need them anymore. Cool, that's that. It's actually quite useful, that feature, for saving things like your shared messages, where you've got like your selected messages. So where you've got a share link here, go to that, and then you can say, right, these are all the messages that I wanted to do with, I don't know, my selection. The share link will work with anyone who's got this extension, but obviously the saved messages is just on your local PC, so they won't see this title. And we've gone blank. Cool, there are a couple of more features I wanted to show you, but I don't think that's going to happen now, because last time this happened I recorded about 40 minutes of blank video. You can, on the vague hope that this is still working, I can't actually check, but if you hover over one of the message segment message fields, blue text fields, so like OBX1 for example, right click on it and there'll be a context menu, and you can click search in message viewer. That'll open up the message viewer page and automatically put in that particular item as an extended criteria, and then you can search for that item. It does automatically put in a start time of today, just so that you don't search over since the dawn of time with your messages. There is, if you go to the home page of your instance or namespace, then there's poorly business components, which you can enable in the options page, and it just overtakes the did you know section and tells you which components in your active production is queuing or disabled. So pretty useful. I think that is everything. So like I said, go to the Open Exchange, type in InterSystems, find it, go to GitHub, download it, and I hope this helps with your analyst work. Thank you.